You are not stuck because the task is hard. You are stuck because you are picturing the whole thing at once. The finished project, the perfect version, the mountain seen from the bottom in full. No wonder you haven't moved. 25 centuries ago, a text that would outlast every empire built after it put this plainly. A tree that fills both arms grew from a seed no bigger than a fingertip. A tower 9 stories high rose from a single heap of earth, one basketful at a time. A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath your feet, not somewhere ahead of you, but exactly where you are standing right now. That is not poetry for its own sake. It is a correction. The ancient teacher who wrote it was not talking to people without ambition. He was talking to people paralyzed by it, people who could see the whole staircase and refused to take the first stair because it wasn't the top one. Centuries later, a German poet chasing his own impossible project, a play he would work on for most of his adult life, put the same law in a different key. In Faust, he wrote that whatever you have inherited from your fathers, you must earn again for yourself if you want to truly possess it. Inheritance is not ownership. Even a good idea, a good plan, a good morning routine handed to you fully formed. None of it is yours until you have done the small, repeated work of claiming it. Not once, daily. This is where most people get discipline wrong. They think the goal is to somehow arrive already capable, to wake up one day with the habit installed, the resistance gone. It doesn't work that way, and it never has. The staircase is the only way up. There is no elevator that skips the first stair. Modern behavior research says almost exactly the same thing the old text said, just with better instruments. The single biggest predictor of whether a new habit survives contact with a real, tired, distracted human being is not motivation. It's friction. Make the first action small enough that skipping it feels more effortful than doing it. Not exercise for an hour. Put on the shoes. Not write the report. Open the document and type one sentence. The behavior that survives is the behavior that was never big enough to require willpower in the first place. Here is the part that should actually change how you start your day. The size of the first step has nothing to do with the size of the outcome you're aiming for. A single basketful of earth and a 9-story tower are not the same size, and they were never meant to be compared. Your task this morning is not to imagine the tower. It's to lift one basket. That's the entire assignment. Notice what your mind does instead. Most mornings, it skips the basket and goes straight to the tower. It runs the whole project in advance. Every obstacle, every version of failure, every hour will supposedly cost before your hand has touched a single tool. That preview feels like planning. It is not planning. It is a tax you pay before you've earned a single foot of progress. And most people pay it every single day without noticing where the exhaustion actually comes from. You're not tired from the work. You're tired from rehearsing the work 100 times before doing it once. The fix is almost insultingly simple, which is exactly why it gets ignored. Shrink the entry point until refusing it would be strange. Not write the chapter. Open the file and write one paragraph. Not have the hard conversation, send the message that starts it. Not get in shape, put on the shoes, and walk to the end of the street. None of these are the goal. None of them were ever meant to be the goal. They're the basket. The tower gets built by 1,000 of them, none of which required you to feel ready, brave, or inspired on the day you lifted it. Look at what you have been avoiding. Not the whole thing. The version of it you could finish before your coffee gets cold. The email you could open, not answer. The page you could open, not fill. The stair directly under your foot, not the landing at the top. Somewhere in the last few weeks, you turned a 2-minute action into a monument, and the monument has been sitting untouched ever since, gathering the exact kind of dread that only grows in the dark, unexamined corner of a task you've refused to look at directly. You've been treating the size of the goal as a reason to wait for the right conditions. More time, more clarity, more energy. But the goal was never the unit you were supposed to act on. The step was. And the step, unlike the goal, is always available. It was available yesterday. It's available right now, in whatever room you're standing in, regardless of how the rest of the day is scheduled to go. There's a kind of honesty in this that most productivity advice avoids, because honesty here is unglamorous. It will not make you feel like a different person by tonight. It asks for one basket today, and then tomorrow, the discipline to earn the next one. The same small act, repeated with no promise that it will ever feel easier than it does right now. That repetition, not a single burst of motivation, is what the tower is actually made of. The tower doesn't ask whether you feel ready to build it. It only asks whether today's basket got lifted. I will not wait to feel capable before I begin. I will make today's first action small enough that I have no excuse to skip it. I will treat what I inherited, the plan, the routine, the idea, as something I still have to earn today by doing it. I will measure the morning by the step I took, not the mountain I haven't finished. What is the one basket you've been putting off lifting? Not the whole tower, just today's load. Tell me below. I read every one.